Good afternoon. Today's date is March 24th, 2026. We will be reviewing the current market position, the macro news bias, the set news reports that came out today, both the PMI reports and the personal trade I took today. As far as the current position of the market, of course, yesterday Trump announced that he is in the talks of making peace with Iran. We pumped. Ever since then, we've kind of been undecisive. We've been in this range here. In hopes of the Iran war ending. As far as the macro news bias today, Trump and the Indian Prime Minister talk about de escalation in the Middle East. Useful views, useful exchange of views. Supports de escalation. More of the same from Pakistan's Prime Minister. Two Indian gas tankers have passed through the Strait of Hormuz without incident. That's important. Iran said that allied countries will be getting their oil. Of course, the U.S. is not one. And Iran has toughened its negotiating stance. Trump has been saying that he's been negotiating with Iran and the right people. We'll get into that in a second over here. But it seems like Iran is hard stuck on some of the demands they want, and who knows? Who knows what they're negotiating about? Even though all that has been going on, airstrikes have Iran has been attacking Israel. Israel has been attacking Iran. China also pushed for Iran to talk to the U.S. about the war ending. Here is Trump saying that he's been talking to the people of Iran and how they want to make a deal badly. Let's see here. Okay, so in my opinion, the US and select countries have been pushing for a resolution. Iran is hesitant, but they also don't really want this war. Trump knows it's not in his best interest for the war to go on. Um, and we know that because he kind of backpedaled after giving a 48-hour deadline, which, of course, I said this yesterday. He has a history of backpedaling from deadlines. Um, Iran kind of called his bluff on that. So that's kind of the state of the market. Truly, we're just going to wait and see about further negotiations. I would say the market, you know, allied countries, some countries, everyone's kind of over this war, and people are going to start coming to the table for a deal. What's in the deal, who knows? But I do think we are starting. The war is more over than it is started. I don't know what day we're on. What day are we on? Day 30? Almost a month? Almost a month. Day 24? Day 25? Almost a month into the war? Something like that. So, who knows? But it seems like countries are rallying and coming together about talks for peace, about the war. Let's get into the PMI reports today. Not much here. Not much. Flash manufacturing PMI performed better than the forecast. Flash services PMI performed worse than the forecast. Both of these performed, manufacturing performed significantly better, services performed significantly worse. Let's see over here in my notes. Flash manufacturing had the strongest rise since October, and flash services PMI hit an 11-month low. So, you kind of expect the services to slow down during war times, especially with, the huge increase in prices right now and the spike. It's good that flash manufacturing is still performing really well. I'm not too concerned about it. I feel like that's just kind of something natural that comes with the war. Let's review the trade I took today. Let's see here. Okay. So the trade I took was during PM session. AM session, not much happened. You kind of see this range here again. The markets have been extremely news driven recently. Coming up around 1 p.m., we see that we have swept this liquidity, and the 5-minute broke market structure right here. We broke market structure on this 11:55 candle, retrace, and then broke market structure again. On the 1 hour, we were in a downtrend. The 4 hour on ES was in a downtrend. Bearish order flow on NASDAQ. My technical analysis was extremely bearish, and the news side of things was kind of undecisive and hopefully optimistic, is how I would describe it. So, kind of conflicting biases. I still entered shorts here. Okay, market structure break right here. This is the bearish SMT after ES swept that liquidity. We were also filling that 1 hour equilibrium. Okay. We were filling these two gaps. I'm just going to mark out this gap here. Okay. Broke market structure, came up, filled this gap here. Once we filled that gap, I was looking for 1 minute market structure break or 1 minute order flow to get inverse to the bearish. That happened here. Then we started at this candle closure. Then we started really pumping down. I put my entry right here at the start of this fair value gap. This ended up getting tapped. Really good trade here, honestly. And then we flooded to the downside. You can see here my stops got pulled to break even once this low got hit. Once this low got hit, we also made a bullish SMT here, if you can see. So I didn't take any profits right here, and I moved my stops to break even. I had full take profit right here. Yeah, that's just how it goes. I was fully anticipating this to get hit. It did not. Obviously, we've kind of been turning around here since, especially here in the last couple hours, we got this big move. So, like I said, technical analysis says bearish. The fundamental news side of things kind of was hopefully optimistic, bullish. And yeah, so that was the trade. Let's see if there's anything else to talk about here. Nope. Oh, yes, there is. So if you haven't seen this, let's click off of here. I had one more thing to talk about and then I'll end it. So if you haven't seen this, yesterday, you can see this is where Trump obviously made that announcement of optimism of the war ending, coming to an end. couple minutes before that, a trader entered a $500 million short. So, let's see we can see the volume here increase right here. How many minutes was this? Okay, not 14, but still, nevertheless. They entered a huge short position here 14 minutes before Trump's announcement. Obvious insider trading there. So maybe you'll see that in the news headlines. Who knows? But yeah, that is it for today. That concludes March 24th, 2026 review.